Hey everybody, Derek here to bring you another video for The Walking Dead countdown to the start of Season 6. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is doing a predictions video for Deanna. Trying to figure out what her role will be in Season 6 and about her status as the leader of Alexandria. Will that change? How fast will it change? And pretty much what's going to happen. So I'm going to do this video just in case you are not caught up with the show or the comic books. This video will contain information from both of those sources. So if you do not want to be spoiled in any way, this video may not be for you. Okay. So, as we know in the comic books, Deanna is Douglas. It's a male instead of a female that is running Alexandria in the comics. Now, I kind of feel that there are some similarities between Douglas and Deanna and some differences. One, I think that Deanna is a lot stronger and tougher than Douglas. I feel that Douglas really is not the strong leader that Alexandria, needed. And I think that a lot of other people are more credit, you should give more credit to some other people, maybe like Aaron, and a couple of other people who really helped keep the community strong. But Douglas really is not somebody that can make effective decisions, I think. He embraces more of that politician within him of, you see that stereotype of politicians trying to please everybody, trying to, make a situation seem like everybody can win. And I just don't think that that's always possible, especially when it came to the whole Pete Anderson situation and Jesse. Douglas decided to overlook that, and in the end, it resulted in some terrible things. And I think that Deanna, in many ways, resembles a little bit of that. And I think that in many ways she does want to do what is best for the community. And I think that she kind of felt like that the Anderson marriage would fix itself. That they would find a way to work it out. Plus the fact that Pete was a doctor, really did make a difference. You're going to need doctors, and sometimes in a very serious survival situation, some people may get free passes for some things that they do because their skills are so needed. I'm not saying whether that's right or not, but sometimes that can happen. And I feel like Deanna, in many ways, does that, but I also don't think that she's very susceptible to being manipulated or, so upset or as emotional as Douglas is, in my opinion. I think Douglas really is reactive, but I think that Deanna really is more of a thinker. I think that she really is somebody that can look at a situation and see everything that's going on. And I think that she can spot the right decisions to make. Now, as we know at the end of season 5, Deanna lost her son, Aiden, her older son, out there in when they went to the storage facility. And then right after that, she lost Reg, her husband, somebody that she loved, somebody that she spent most of her life with. And that's something that's very hard. And one of the things that I noticed was that Deanna, similar to Douglas, loses their spouse to Pete. And that's something that they both share. And they both have the same reaction as the other. Douglas and Deanna both told Rick, right after Pete killed Regina or Reg, to kill him. And Rick complied. And, it really makes you wonder how that's going to affect Deanna and the type of person that she is. In the comics, what ends up happening with Douglas is Douglas doesn't give away his power right away. Right after the Pete Anderson situation happens, he basically tells Rick, he goes, well, Rick, I understand why you did what you needed to do. And, I respect that. And I see that. I see the danger. I see what's going on. And I realize that, you are somebody that we need. And I'm going to tell you what. You can go right ahead and break rules. You do what you need to do to keep this community safe. Wear a gun, walk around, do what you need to do, but never question my authority again. Period. And that was how they left off until the situation with the scavengers slash maybe the wolves in the TV show might be the counterparts. And basically, Rick is left to, in a way, be more of a leader, or maybe put more in a powerful position to be allowed to do these things. How will that affect season 6 in the comic? I mean, excuse me, in the TV show? I'll be very interested to see, because I really do think that Deanna is more of somebody who can think, somebody who, is a more suitable leader, I think, than her comic book counterpart is. Whether she's better than Rick or not, I don't know. That's a matter of what you would want to see in a community, and that's a matter of the circumstances. Because really, not a lot of terrible things happened to Alexandria, and it was kind of similar to the prison. I mean, there was a great period of time where nothing happened at the prison after the governor situation, and then they got hit with a tragedy, and things had to change. And that's history. I mean, you look over history and you see that, certain leaders, when they came to power, were needed for particular time periods. Winston Churchill in Britain was more of a wartime, prime minister, knew what he was supposed to do. Whereas Neville Chamberlain was more of a peacetime person. Unfortunately, they were entering into World War II. And that's just an example, and I think that history can show many examples. It's no different than what's going on here. Alexandria is probably entering into a time of very hard things to come. Spoiler alert from the comics, and the TV show. We have the wolves coming. We have this massive horde of walkers, which I think is going to happen, coming. And no doubt we're going to have the Savior storyline. So I know that there are terrible things that are probably going to come to this community. And the fact of the matter is, Rick may be the better leader in those time periods. So we'll see what happens. But, it'll be interesting to see the way that the community feels about Deanna, and the way that Deanna feels about herself. Because just because she told Rick to kill Pete doesn't necessarily mean that she embraces all of Rick's ideals. That this is the way that we deal with things, and this is the way the world is, and this is what it has to be. This could have just been a slip, where Deanna strayed from those ideas, where normally she would be somebody who would want maybe like the justice system to deal with this. That's usually what happens here. We have a justice system in this country just like any other country, and that's how we deal with things. And maybe Deanna still felt that way, up until that moment. But unfortunately, when something so personal like that happens, it can change your perspective. And I will be very interested to see how Deanna feels. Because on the one hand, she may somewhat be changed by this experience. She may realize that this is the better way to deal with things now in the world that we're living in, this Walking Dead zombie apocalypse world, where danger may lurk within your walls and you need to act quick before it's too late. Or she's going to really regret it. Really be upset with the way that she reacted. That she looks at herself and goes, this isn't who I am. I would never, ever order someone to be killed, no matter what they did. I'm a leader. I'm somebody who needs to be better than that. And look what I did. I lowered myself to Rick's standard. I lowered myself to I let the hatred fill me, and I decided to let Rick kill the person that killed my husband. And, in that moment it felt right, but now it doesn't. And I would not be surprised if she adopts that kind of, perspective. Especially after seeing, the photo, the poster with the Alexandrians on one side and Rick's group on the other. I think that, she will be regretting it. I think that she is going to be very upset with the decision that she made. But I think that she has an idea for, what needs to be done. I think it's a little of both. I think on the one hand, I think that she will realize that, the world has changed. Things need to change. And I think that she might give Rick just a little bit more, more of an authority. And she may have a talk similar to the way that, that Douglas talked to Rick in the comics. But I think she might have an ulterior motive, uh, or maybe she'll form one later on or realize the error of her ways. I don't really know the content of what's going to happen. I think that once we get a little bit more information, maybe get the trailer, we'll be able to see maybe how people are feeling, what's going on, plus what's going on in outside the walls. Because when the wolves come, that could change everything completely. And I think that once the scavengers did come in the comics, that really made Douglas realize that he wasn't up to the task and let Rick take over. Now, in regards to this, if I had to make my best prediction right now, I think that Deanna will give Rick some more power, but I think that it's maybe to test him, or perhaps have her watch over him and see exactly what happens. I would not be surprised if that is what she does. Maybe she will give that that talk and tell Rick, okay, yeah, maybe you were right, and you know what, you can carry a gun and you can do this and you can do that, but don't question my authority again. That's a possibility. But at the same time, she may, after talking with Morgan maybe, and after talking with Spencer, and after talking with some of the other civilians, she may realize that they need to keep an eye on Rick. And maybe she'll have somebody who's, responsible for that. Or she may implement measures to make sure that Rick doesn't, step outside too far. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. More of, again, Deanna's personality of trying to make everybody happy, trying to make this work. She may give Rick a little bit more of that authority, but at the same time, sit there and say, we're watching him. And the moment he slips up, the moment he does something, I want somebody there right then and there to take care of it and his people. And that may change over time. And I'll be very interested to see what will happen. But I think that what's very interesting is the fact that the poster, it's Morgan and Rick in the middle, in the center, kind of facing each other, rather than Rick and Deanna, which is what maybe you would have thought would have happened in the first place, because Deanna's the leader of Alexandria. And it really does make me wonder if, she might give her powers to Morgan, or at least make him a very close advisor. Seeing that Morgan kind of has this new outlook on life that may comport with hers, something that she can, understand and feel and agree with. And it may be that she wants to make Morgan more of a leader rather than Rick. And, whether she's going to be in a condition to lead after losing her son and her husband, it may not be that she completely gives up her position, but she may sit there and say, well, I can't be on the front lines right now. I need to grieve. I need to, get back to a, more level-headed, emotional state. I've lost my husband, I've lost one of my sons, and it's hard. And I can't even imagine what it's like to lose two people back to back. I mean, I've had deaths in my family, probably just like anybody else, but never as fast as, what can happen in the Walking Dead world. I mean, that just changes the rules entirely. But I can only imagine what could happen losing your husband and maybe one of your children or somebody like that in a matter of days. That would be devastating. So I really would not be surprised if Deanna does step down for a little while and lets Morgan kind of, take the front line. Or maybe, Rick and Morgan both, become leaders, and maybe it's their, methodologies that really don't agree with each other and could erupt into a war. I think that might even be more likely, that she chooses several individuals to kind of watch over things, and maybe she has Maggie help her, a couple people from her own people, like her son Spencer, Aaron, people like that, maybe to kind of form a little bit of a council. That's a possibility too. But I think that there are a lot of options that she has, and I really would not be surprised if she does hand over her leadership for a little while, with the expectation of stepping back into place. Whether that's going to happen or not, depending on the storyline, might not happen. but we'll see. But those are my early predictions right now, and I will be very interested to see what happens. And once we get a trailer out, I mean, that'll open up a lot of different ideas, a lot of different predictions, a lot more of what might happen, and then we can really make a great video that might have better predictions. Because I have a lot of ideas, but I want to get the trailer first to see if I can narrow that down a little bit. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if there are any video topics that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. I will very soon have a video out about Carl and Enid, kind of making a couple predictions there. So stay tuned for that. And if there's any other suggestions, please do not be afraid to throw them out there. I appreciate each and every one of them. And I want to thank you all again. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you for watching.